title is Liberal Democracy Right-Wing and Communism Left-Wing? Many Koreans hold political beliefs that are inconsistent with reality. In particular, there is a deeply rooted misconception among Koreans that liberal democracy is right-wing and communism is left-wing. However, the right wing emphasizes individual respect, individualism, and the left wing emphasizes public interest collectivism. Therefore, within liberal democracy, both right-wing and left-wing ideologies coexist. This is the structure seen in liberal democratic systems in the United States, Europe, and other countries today. Yet, Koreans tend to equate the right wing with liberal democracy and the left wing with communism. This distorted understanding prevents Korean politics from advancing or unifying. When public interest is completely abandoned in favor of individualism, it becomes far-right ideology, in other words extreme individualism and anti-democratic right-wing. Conversely, when individual rights are abandoned for the public interest, it becomes far-left ideology, in other words extreme collectivism, which is communism and anti-democratic leftism. However, many Koreans do not recognize communism as far-left, but simply regard it as part of the general left. This misunderstanding is a major obstacle to Korea's political progress. The far right and the right must be clearly distinguished, just as the far left and the left must be. Moreover, both far right and far left ideologies must be removed from a liberal democratic society. The mainstream left are democratic leftists, that is, progressive liberal Democrats. The far left are anti-democratic leftists, namely communist dictatorship. This distinction must be clearly understood. However, progressive liberal democracy is not always right or righteous. In recent times, even criminal ideologies have tried to disguise themselves as progressive and seek justification under that label. For a society to function properly, both individualism and public good-oriented values must coexist. That is why, in a healthy liberal democratic society, both the right and the left must exist together. Yet, ideologies that destroy liberal democracy and a healthy human society, such as the far right, the far left, and criminal ideas disguised as progressivism, must be eliminated. Otherwise, the liberal democratic order will collapse. In this world, those who pursue humanity and those who pursue inhumanity coexist. The path of humanity is the path to realizing and sustaining a proper human society. In contrast, inhumanity is a destructive force that undermines and collapses such a society. Only by removing inhuman elements can we preserve a righteous and truly human society. If those who follow the path of inhumanity, that is, the path of evil and crime, become the majority, that society and nation will fall. It will no longer be a human society, but a gathering of evil spirits. What will you choose?